Hey everyone, how's it going? Elliot here again. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Pac-Man Quarter Arcade. I'm with my friend Tim. Thank you very much for having me here, Tim. This is a very, very cool space. Obviously, Tim likes arcade machines. So how did you get even started into getting these, really?
Well, I just had to, I just wanted to collect some of the classics that I knew and loved from the 80s. So they're all early 80s stuff, pretty much.
And like me, Tim actually refurbishes them. Typically, arcade machines come with a bit of wear on it, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
You try and sort of preserve that so that you still have the character of the arcade machine and the story that it's sort of told. But you do involve yourself with the actual repairs as well. We are going to be looking at the NumSkull Quarter Arcade. They reached out to me and they said, would you like to do a review on one? And I said yes. I tried to think of a way to make it slightly different to everyone who's already done it. And I think I found a way. You actually own the real size Pac-Man arcade machine. This is the original, what is this, 1980 something?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Crazy. So this claims to be a quarter, it actually says on the back or on the front I think, a quarter size scale replica arcade cabinet. So let's go ahead and quickly open it up and see what it looks like. There is a certificate of authenticity.
Yeah.
We should point out that this is £150, so there's quite a lot of money obviously to be spent on this, so you would expect this to be quite a premium thing. I think they've probably put that in there just to make it feel a little bit more sort of premium. It's individually numbered. There's only apparently 10,000 of these being made, so I guess that's quite a nice touch for sort of collectors. It does scream collector's edition actually on it, so I guess they've done that to sort of go with typical collector items.
Yeah.
However, there's a coin. I mean, there would have been quite a large cost, I imagine, involved in making these little coin things. I'm not a fan of this sort of stuff. I'd say it is just the sort of thing that you get, you look at and go, oh, that's nice, and then it just ends up in a drawer to never be used again, and you've paid probably an extra £15 on top of the price of this thing for that. So Tim, what do you reckon of this?
Yeah, it's a bit of nefarious tat.
It says collectible coin on the back of it, just because we might have been unsure.
If they say it's collectible, it
yeah,
must be.
We'll take a word for it. So, get this out of the way. And Tim, would you like to do the honours?
Yeah, let's take this baby out.
If we drop it, that'd be funny. And here it is. I mean, it is very, very nice, isn't it? They've really paid a very close attention to detail. I think it's fair to say. So what sort of materials are we looking at? And in comparison to the original one, is it close?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they've made the cabinet from plywood, because you can see the ply in the back here and the back vents.
I'll show that in a second as well.
And there, yeah. I think they've done a really good job. I mean, you look at the artwork, you look at the scale, the 3 screws at the top there, I'm really impressed, and the speaker on the underside is exactly, when you look at the real thing, it's pretty much identical.
Yeah.
It's a great replica.
So I guess what we actually, before we take a look at it any further, we need to find out if it is actually a quarter of the size, because that's the sort of branding that they're pushing out quite hard on this. So let's grab the tape measure and measure the original.
We've got 157 mil.
157 millimeters across.
And on the real one we got 630 mil. So 630 divided by 157 is exactly, well, 4.01.
4.01.
It's near as damn it.
So it's very damn close.
Now, if you look at the attention to detail, the front door and the control panel, and then you look at the original, it's pretty much smack on.
I mean, they've got those switches in the exact. They've even got the spacing right there as well that's gone next to it. And I mean, this has obviously been made off of an American model because it's got 25 cents written on it, whereas this one says 20p. But that's actually a bit that could be removed.
They're all yeah, they were changeable.
Yeah.
On the real machines, you'd obviously put your own.
They've got the doors in the right place. I'll tell you what would have been really, really cool, and this is just because I'm a bit obsessed with this sort of stuff. Having that on a hinge would have been really cool. I know that would have been
level.
That would have been a bit too far. There, you've got to probably get to a point and say stop. But I mean, it is super close, and also on the back, they've got this sort of I don't know what that is, enamel or painted, I don't know. A little plaque, that's the right one. And that is actually not, although it's not in the same place, it is also on the main machine. I'll be showing some B-roll of that right now on top. But I mean, it is very, very nice. The artwork is super high quality. It's not being a cheap print. That would have probably cost them quite a bit to get it as accurate as that. But I mean, we need to talk about playability really, because obviously it is quite small. Is it gimmicky? Is it functional? That's probably quite an important question to ask. So let's have a quick play, and we can make our decision up at the end of that. So turning it on around the back actually lights up the marquee that you've got here, which is obviously the same as the original. And it goes through the same sort of startup sequence as well, doesn't it? Which is really, really nice. And
a nice touch is that the coin eject buttons have been used as credit buttons, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch, that.
It is exactly the same, isn't it?
And they start in the same direction. The ghosts are going the same way.
They definitely are. And so obviously with a CRT screen you get quite a nostalgic sort of visual effect. Would you say that that's a problem not having it on this one?
No, I mean, it's, like you said before, you've got to draw the line somewhere, and it would be, well, nobody makes CRTs anymore for a start. Yeah. So you've got to, you can only work with what you've got. It's great. I think
it doesn't take away from the
No, not really at all, no. I mean, I don't like CRTs on, rather LCDs on full-size machines.
Yeah.
Purporting to be the real thing. That just feels wrong. But this is a scale model, so
but it's a functional one as well.
It works really well.
They could have picked.
I think these buttons are excellent. I think these buttons, the quality of these buttons here is really good.
What does the bottom one do? Because obviously the top one. Oh,
there's two players. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also they've obviously done the decal very similar. Although you picked up on actually one little difference.
Yeah, there's a tiny difference. So these yellow dots here should form a border across the bottom.
And they don't quite go across the bottom.
They don't. We're being picky there.
That's it. Now it's not worth the money.
Yeah.
The text as well. It's all readable. It isn't. It isn't just a.
With my failing eyesight, it's still legible. Yeah, it's all there, and it's all figures with my machine. It's pretty damn good, I'd say. I would be happy with that. Tiny little things. The thickness of these sides is ever so slightly wrong. It's ever so slightly too thin, but I'm being picky.
Would you pay £150 for that?
I think I would.
Also, it's nice because it's smaller and functional. You can leave that in your living room and actually play it.
It's that sort of scale where it's still definitely playable. Not too small that it becomes,
gimmicky. Is.
And also on some of the smaller ones, on some of the really tiny ones, the playability, you can see they've had to change the code because you just couldn't fit those sorts of graphics in and what have you.
Yeah.
This feels like it's the real deal, scaled down.
And they've actually been given a license by Namco to make this, which means you're going to be getting a certain degree of quality just from that alone. Otherwise, they wouldn't really have endorsed it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see how gorgeous that is, and the light in the marquee on the original is sort of in the center, and it's a yellowy light. Yeah. They've actually matched that as well, which I think is really, really cool.
In original arcade machines, in there there's a fluorescent tube, so and they're more of a yellow-white, and they've actually gone to the trouble of making sure the LED they've used in the back there is a yellowy white LED. So yeah, the attention to detail I think is phenomenal.
I think there's one thing that I would like to do, and I'm sure a lot of people would like to see, is let's pop the back open.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, I'm really, really impressed. This is probably the biggest difference. It's actually charged and powered off of a rechargeable lithium-ion battery. I wonder if it says the size of it on the back here. It doesn't. 3-watt built-in speaker with volume control. Replica wooden shell and shape, reverse air vents with a wire mesh as well, that's actually good. 100% accurate emulation running the original arcade ROM. We probably should have read this.
Yeah.
And then it's micro USB powered, so it's actually rechargeable.
Yeah, they've got a little onboard battery on there.
There's the inside then. And it's not, you know, your average Pi. This is all a dedicated system. And we were saying before, it's really nice having dedicated systems because it means that they just mean more as you play them.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, there are any number of 60 in 1 or 2000 in 1 or 40,000 in 1 MAME machines.
There's that plywood
and
piece.
You just, I don't know, I don't really get it. I get it in that if you want to play lots of different games, but you always have that, it kind of devalues it. If you've got a dedicated machine, then you're only playing that game, and it somehow feels more worthy. If you've got 100 other games you could be playing at the same time, you never sort of fully settle on playing whatever it was you were playing. That's what I love about the original arcades, is that they were dedicated machines.
Police sirens.
Yeah.
They're after us.
Cops are coming.
No, so the top of the arcade machine on the marquee has 3 lights to hold down the sort of gasket cover there.
3 screws, yeah.
3 screws, sorry, and that's exactly the same.
Pretty much. Spacing is slightly different, but again, we're splitting hairs. I think that speaker grill is, it's a lovely touch because it's not something you notice immediately. You actually have to look underside to check it out, and they could have easily just, you know, drilled some holes in the ply.
They could have even just waxed a speaker in here.
Yeah, yeah,
but they haven't. Get the authentic sound.
They've followed the original, you know, really well. I think that's all credit to them for that.
Yeah,
it's fair play.
Well, it's on free play, so it doesn't require credits. But so, in a summary, I guess it is really nice to have this. I think for £150, obviously there is going to be a small market amount of people who are going to be able to sort of fork out this, because it is, you know, how often do you play a game? I guess you're not going to come to play the Pac-Man game every single day, so it's sort of a thing that you know is there that you can play. But for £150, the quality is definitely worth that price. Yeah. The other thing that's really cool as well, especially for you as a collector of arcade machines, they are not stopping with just Pac-Man. They've already got the Gallagher arcade machine coming out very, very soon. I'm not sure how much about that I can actually talk about, but it's a very, very impressive machine. Again, same size, so not that all arcade machines run off of the same sort of shape, but if they're all in the same scale, it's just going to look amazing next to each other. So yeah, super impressed. £150. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to go and check it out. Huge thank you, Tim, for having me here. Cheers, and for helping us with this video. Let's just have a play. I think that's the most important thing for us right now.